Hi everybody, and welcome to another social live session with ApplyBoard. My name is Russ, and I'm the Partner Relations Manager for ApplyBoard based in the UK. So many students have been asking for some hints or tips regarding the application process, which can appear quite daunting to students at first. Today, we've invited along one of our key partners, Montfort University, to speak to us today with a little bit of advice for applications. So without further ado, I'll introduce the two representatives from Montfort University joining us today. They are Amar and Nathan. Hi guys, how are you doing?
Hi Ross, how are you?
Thank
you very much. Thank you very much for having us here, myself and my colleague Nathan. My name is Amar, as you mentioned. I look after recruitment from EU and the rest of South Asia. And it's always a pleasure to be with ApplyBoard, one of our key and good friends, of course, key partners and good friends, and we work closely together. So thank you again for having us. I'll hand over to Nathan to introduce himself. Then I'll speak a little bit about Montfort. Then I'll circle back to Nathan.
Fabulous.
Yeah, hi Russ. My name is Nathan Vaughan. I'm an admissions administrator at Montfort University here in Leicester, and I work predominantly in the international team. So what I do is I process the international applications for our range of undergraduate degree programs.
Fantastic. Thanks very much. Well, absolutely. Let's get this started. First off, as you say, Emma, it would be good if we could hear a little bit about De Montfort, the types of courses you offer, and a little bit of extra information students might be interested in.
Fantastic. Thanks again, Ross. So I'll just give an overview, quick overview about De Montfort University. So we're located in a city called Leicester. It's just over an hour, 70 minutes by train from London, central London. We are located in the East Midlands, so that's in the middle of the country. To the right, we have a local airport, which is East Midland Airport. That's 20 minutes drive from campus. We are in the city center, so we are literally 5 minutes walk away from the city center. So students, we're not advising, but they can go and do some shopping during the break. We're 15 minutes walk away from the train station. So again, students, you do not need any transportation. In terms of the programs, so we have 4 different faculties. So we have the business and law, we have art, design, humanities, we have computing, engineering, and media, and my favorite, the health and life sciences. All 4 faculties are on campus, so you don't need to go from one place to another. And we offer over 300 programs between undergraduate and postgraduate, and we of course offer PhD. The foundation is also on campus, and that's through our pathway providers called Oxford International Education Group. And again, you will be a student with the DMU ID, and you will use all the facilities, including the library, which is open 24 hours. The highlight of the programs, I'm sure I can answer any question that you want to hear about, but we have this on the website. And the good news is, well, we have an open day on the 4th of December. So please register and join us. It will be online and it will be also face-to-face. I will be on campus with other colleagues. So please, if you're in the UK, come and say hi, and I'll be more than happy to show you around as well. We have accommodation on campus and 2-3 minutes walk away from the university. Again, it's really convenient for the students, and it's really affordable. It can range between £100 per week, including all the bills, all the way to £150 per week, including the bills. Roughly, you need between £850 and £900 per month. That includes the rents, your social life, the shopping, and everything to live in Leicester. Leicester is very multicultural. De Montfort alone, we have over 135 different nationalities, and this will give you an idea about the diversity that we have on campus. In terms of social, we have a lot of student societies, so by all means, please come and join and introduce yourself to the student union, and they'll be more than happy to talk to you about the different activities that you can join. I don't want to take a lot of time. With this note, I will end my brief introduction, Russ, and I will hand over to you and Nathan. But thank you very much again.
That's great, thank you. De Montfort University, super popular university, applications from students all around the world. So thanks very much for that, Emma. So Nathan, hi, great. Let's move over to the application process. Yeah. So you're working in the admissions team. Maybe
Mhm.
you could give us a little bit of more information about the application process, how that works, and a few hints and tips.
Yeah, absolutely. That's no problem. The thing is, when we get an application that comes through, there are various components and parts of that application that we look at in order to be able to determine an applicant's suitability for a program, depending on what level they're coming in for, what year of entry, what qualifications they might have. But the way that the applications are put forward can sometimes substantially increase the speed in which an application can be completed and a decision can actually be given and made and communicated back to the applicant. So what I'd just like to do is just give a couple of points really to bear in mind for anybody who's actually thinking of putting an application together and submitting it to DMU, that will make life easier for everybody all around and help us to sort of complete that process and speed up that decision-making process. So the first point really, I think, is to visit our website at www.dmu.ac.uk and research the university, have a look at what we have to offer, look at our programs, look at our undergraduate programs and indeed our postgraduate programs that we have on offer, and research the program that you're interested in. Our university website gives a very, very good overview of each of the courses that we provide, what the requirements are, what the entrance requirements are, so you can immediately determine your suitability and whether or not that is the right course for you and what you can offer. It also includes further information about optional and compulsory modules, about how the programs are put together, how they're going to be assessed, fees, and that sort of thing generally. And it gives you information as well as the typical type of career pathways after graduation and what these programs can actually lead on to. The website also has further information about student life, both within the university and in the wider community and the city of Leicester. So it's a really good starting point for anybody thinking of applying and who is interested in DMU to read that first, and then obviously to connect that with the open days that we run as well. And the information you can find off that then feeds very well into structuring your personal statement. And then the personal statement is a very integral part of the whole application process, because what that does basically, it allows the applicant to have a chance to tell us exactly why they want to study that particular program. What is it about that program that interests them? And what you've done so far to show your interest, your suitability, that sort of thing, and what you hope the degree will lead to after graduation. So the personal statement really for admission staff is to show us why you'd be a good match for the course. And you can use that to give examples of things that you've done previously, which outline your skills and achievements to really enhance your application and to show your interest in that particular program. The final main point that I think is also something to bear in mind is to make sure that your application is complete. We always tend to find that there are certain parts of the application that have not been completed, that have not been filled in fully. And this delays the process because we have to go back to the applicant, we have to go back to the agent and then request that information through. So please make sure that all the sections are completed. Please make sure that all your attachments are there. You've provided all your qualifications. You've got a good personal statement. Keep the personal statement relevant, but please keep it to about a page of A4. Something like that. We sometimes get 3, 4, 5 sides of A4 we've got to read. Sometimes we'll just get a paragraph. So we've got to come back to you for a slightly more extended version. So keep it around a side of A4. Make sure all your attachments are there. Meet your deadlines, because obviously it would be terrible for you to go through the application process and you've missed any particular deadlines or any points like that. And then just make sure that the application is as complete as you can make it for us.
Great. Just a quick question about the personal statement, really. You said it should be approximately one side of A4. What kind of information do you really like to see in that? Because it's not a lot of information you can get into one side. What's the key things that need to be in?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of like an art form in itself, to be honest with you. But obviously, what we would be looking for is your interest, why you're interested in it, what makes you think that you're suitable for the course, what skills can you bring, how can you show previous study or previous external activities outside of education that you can bring to enhance your application. So any sort of events that you've done, anything that you've organised, because we'll be looking for organisational skills as well, your ability to work in teams and things like that, because that's obviously a part of the learning process when you come on to the degree itself. Your
Sorry, so any
skill,
relevant work experience then?
work experience, anything like that that you can do to enhance that application, and the skills that you can bring. Why that particular package? What makes De Montfort so attractive to you? What is it about De Montfort that you like? And obviously, most importantly as well, is what you think that this program is going to help you achieve after graduation. So where do you see it leading you on to? So it's a fair bit to put in, but normally a side of A4, a regular type space is enough to convey that across.
That should do it. Fabulous. Okay, great. Now, some students applying for particularly art courses or something along those lines may also be requested to submit portfolios or other kind of evidence for their previous work. Can you give us a bit of information about how that should be gone about?
Yeah, I mean, we do have, there is a specific link for the DMU site for portfolio submission that gives advice on portfolios and digital submissions. It also lists all our programs that will require a portfolio submission off you. So that would be the main place to go to. I do have a link that I could post up somewhere for people to look at and to visit at a point if they want. But I think the main thing to remember when doing a portfolio submission is to make sure the format is correct. Just bear in mind the people who are going to be looking at it. So make sure that it's readable, it's understandable, and it loads and it works. Please make sure that you meet any deadlines, again, that we ask for. And often that we find digital submissions are put through on like a cloud-based server so that there will be a link that we click on in order to be able to view it. But the link normally has an expiry date. And sometimes the expiry date is very, very short. So the time it takes for the submission of the application for us to process it and then for an admissions tutor academically to look at it, that expiry date has gone. And we need to come back to you to get it renewed. So if you can try to ensure that that expiry date is as long as possible to give us every chance to be able to then view that without having to come back to get it extended. But as I said, we do have a link on our website that provides far greater information, tips, advice, and the programs that we offer that will require a digital submission.
Okay, fabulous. So with those submissions of portfolios, etc., and those are always looked at by a member of the faculty then, is that right?
Yeah, anything that will require a digital portfolio, whether it be for art, design, architecture, anything of that nature, will be referred to a program leader, an academic with more specialist knowledge as to what they would be looking for within that program to see if the applicant has what they're looking for in the program. Because working in admissions, we can't be experts in every single subject that we have. I mean, I'm not an engineer, I'm not an architect, so we can look at the baseline academic requirements and we can see if applicants meet that, meet the English requirements, look at the personal statements. But for more advanced entries into years 2 or 3, or for something like a portfolio, we would always refer that to a program leader or an academic for them to give us a more informed decision as to the suitability of the candidate to the program.
Okay, great. That makes sense. Just in terms of timelines, I suppose. Now, I know a lot of students, they submit their applications, and then naturally it does happen. They may panic a little bit about the process after that. So just to give them an idea, how long typically would it take after they've submitted before they can get a decision? Will that vary at different times of the year?
It varies at different points of the year. It depends on what our peak cycles are. It also depends as well on academic availability. So if it does need to be referred to an academic and an academic is not available, for example, they might be away at a conference or something of that nature, and it's going to delay the process. There are other academics that we can refer the matter to in that instance to speed the process up. But it largely depends on the volume of applications that we have received and how complete the application is, and whether we need to go back to the candidate or the agent to request further information. All of that. This is why I say if you can make sure that the application is as complete as possible, it will help us speed that process up so we don't have to keep coming back to you all the time. But you have to appreciate that we do receive an awful lot of applications to our university. De Montfort is a very popular university internationally and with EU students. And as a result of receiving all those applications, it does take some time. But we do work very, very hard in order to ensure that we can turn those applications around and give a timely response to applicants.
Fabulous. I suppose the lesson for that is then to get your application in as early as possible and as complete as possible.
As early and as completed and as comprehensive as you possibly can, to give us every opportunity that we can to give you the answer that you want, as I said, in a timely manner. Absolutely.
Okay, fabulous. Well, next question is something probably Ammar might be able to answer more. It's actually about scholarships, etc. And there's De Montfort will have the scholarships. Are they requiring separate applications, or are they country awards, which may be for everyone, or how does it work with scholarships at De Montfort?
That's actually a very, very good question, Ross. Thank you very much. And I was about to mention this. As Nathan kindly mentioned, just to echo the point, we're very, very popular and we get a lot of applications. And the scholarships are really limited. So, for example, the most popular one is the DMU International Scholarship. And it's based on first come, first serve, which means, let's say that we have 500 scholarships of this DMU International. The first 500 students paid the deposit, they can request the scholarship. So the student number 501, unfortunately, we will say it's a bit too late because we ran out. And the scholarship is worth 1,500. And of course, if they pay the deposit before the deadline, it will be an extra 500. So in total, it will be 2,000 pounds. And that's the most popular one. We do have other scholarships like Sustainability Scholarship, which is up to 4,000 pounds. And there is a deadline. And the student will need to apply through right person statement, I would suppose. They call it, and it will go through a panel, and the committee then they will choose the best candidate for the scholarship. We do have, for example, the MBA scholarship, which is worth 2,500, but again, it's very limited. We have the sports scholarship, but it's really, really popular, and again, it's up to 6,000 pounds, and yeah, students will need to apply as soon as possible. We do have the postgraduate alumni scholarship, and it's up to 30% off from the tuition fees, but this is for DMU students.
That's very generous, actually.
Yeah, I agree, completely agree with you, and that's why we have a lot of students finishing the undergraduate, despite the scholarship, of course, but they enjoy the experience and they move to the postgraduate. On that note about the experience, we do have a very unique initiative at De Montfort, which is called DMU Global. And this is where we run international trips to different countries in the world, and students are more than welcome to participate. The university will pay towards this to a certain percentage, between 40 and 50%, and the students get to travel overseas. For example, the most popular destination for students is New York, and before the COVID, we had students visited the United Nations, and a couple of students managed actually to deliver a speech there. And that's the kind of support that we will give our students so they can add a bit of color on their CV, and hopefully they will get to find a job as soon as they graduate. And that's why we have higher employability rate compared to others. So we're about 97.3% employability rate compared to other universities. Yep, completely agree with you, Russ. So yeah, please do participate. Please do speak with the placement team. They will be more than happy to see you. They will help you with the CV, cover letter, and any tips about the interview, whether it's face-to-face or video or phone interview. They will support you. Yeah, that's about it.
Fabulous. Thanks, guys. Well, I mean, I'm delighted to hear about what you've been doing in New York with the UN. That's really impressive. I mean, De Montfort University, from my understanding, is one of the more international universities in the UK. As we were saying earlier, get applications from all around the world, and lots of them. Those scholarships sound really good, I have to say. From my understanding, that the fees at De Montfort are not too high. Normally, they're quite reasonable. So with those additions of those scholarships, that makes it a very compelling offer, I think. Great. Well, guys, we're about to come to the end of today. So thanks very much. I'd like to say thank you to Ammar and Nathan for joining us from De Montfort University. That was a really informative presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us, Ross. And thank you everyone who attended the session.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. Thank you, Russ.